Hi guys, this is Richard Herman. I'm an immigration lawyer in Cleveland and the owner of the Herman Legal Group. And I'm here today to talk to you about our law firm's essay scholarship. It's called, What Do You Think of When You Hear the Word Immigrant? Now a little bit of a background of why we're doing this. Obviously, we're in the COVID era and people are suffering around the country. We've lost almost 100,000 lives in the United States. People are losing their employment and families are suffering. What we don't often talk about are the undocumented immigrants, the families that are in the United States, often with U.S. children and U.S. spouses, who make up maybe 12 to 20 million people in the U.S. No one really knows. And many of these immigrants are working in essential industries like healthcare and food processing, food harvesting, processing, preparation, and delivery. Unfortunately, they're not getting any stimulus checks. And to make matters even more ridiculous, U.S. citizens married to undocumented immigrants are ineligible under the law to get a stimulus check. This is cruel and unnecessary. It's hurting Americans, hurting American children, but it's part of, unfortunately, the dialogue that we have in the United States about immigrants and what we think about immigrants. So at our law firm, we decided to organize an essay scholarship, and we're inviting undocumented immigrants to write an essay in any language, at least 300 words, of what do they think of when they hear the word immigrant. We hear a lot of talking heads in the media and on the news talking about immigration, but what we wanted to hear from the undocumented community themselves, whether they're in high school, whether they're working in a warehouse or they're going to college, particularly at this time when the U.S. Supreme Court is going to be deciding DACA, deferred action for childhood arrivals, children that came here through no fault of their own when they were young and have been raised here in the United States. President Trump wants to eliminate that program and obviously deport as many undocumented immigrants as possible. We think this is bad for America and bad for the U.S. economy. In fact, studies show that if we legalize the undocumented, it would increase the GDP by over $1.2 trillion. Why? Immigrants are hard workers, they're entrepreneurs. Immigrants are twice as likely to start a business than American-born. Immigrants are innovative. They're filing patents at a 2-to-1 ratio compared to American-born. Many of them have multiple language skills, which helps us navigate foreign markets abroad. So this is the spirit that we want to reward and hear from in the United States. So this essay contest is starting now. We encourage everybody out there who's qualified to submit the essay, no less than 300 words, again, on what do you think of when you hear the word immigrant? What goes through your mind? Tell us your stories. Please email them to ImmigrantStrongUSA at Gmail, ImmigrantStrongUSA at Gmail, and you can see in the link below our website page on the contest. The winner will receive $1,000. So we're really excited about the initiative. We've gotten a lot of feedback from around the country, from nonprofit immigrant organizations, churches, colleges, journalists from around the country, including national media, have reached out and said we'd love to see the essays, the winning essay. And incidentally, all information shared with us on identity of the authors of these essays will be confidential. If the author chooses to disclose who they are, we're happy to share that information with the public. But again, we're trying to initiate a kind of a fresh discussion around the word immigrant and immigration. And one last thing about the undocumented working in essential healthcare industries. Immigrants are disproportionately being harmed in the workplace because of their undocumented status and predatory employers. For example, in the meatpacking industry, immigrants are overly represented in that industry. As you know, many of the folks in the meatpacking industry have been hit with COVID and many have died. In 2018, the study showed that there were 280,000 undocumented immigrants working in healthcare. About 62,000 of those were DACA recipients. In the food processing and production and harvesting industries, there are 3.8 million undocumented immigrants working in those industries, 1 out of 5. So our food supply and our healthcare are tied to the undocumented community. So, these are very trying times, and we're hoping that this essay contest will inspire others to share their stories. And someone asked me recently, what do I think of when I hear the word immigrant? And I thought for about 20 seconds, and I thought of one word, and the word is hero. And the reason I thought of hero or heroes is because most of the immigrants that I know, including the immigrants that I represent, and my wife, who was an undocumented immigrant, who's now a physician, they came here and they work extremely hard for one reason, for their children, to give them a better future. And their parents, endure extreme hardship and abuse and all these things. And for me, it's about the children, the American children. So again, thank you for listening and watching this video. I encourage you to spread the word about this essay contest if you're not eligible to apply. If you are eligible to apply, please do apply. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, everybody.